A tete-a-tete with Paresh Maity. Infinite Light is a magnum opus. It is an exhibition that has 450 works that will travel to 4 metropolitan cities in India. And the curatorial advisor is Ranjit Hoskote, and it is the brainchild of 4 distinguished galleries in the country, and it is Sunena Anand of Art Alive who actually launches this in the capital city of Delhi. I have with me Paresh Maity. Paresh Maity, the artist who was born in Tamluk. Paresh Maity, the artist who has crossed many shores and gone across continents to create his own evolution in terms of the materiality of works that look at multiple mediums. And this exhibition begins on a historic staircase that combines the classic and the colonial. Paresh Maity's drawing on the walls and the installation created in paper talks to us about time and tide. We have with this Paresh who talks to us about the drawing, because as a little boy he would draw on the sands of the seashore, he would draw on little strips of paper, and he was continuously creating his own evolution, little realizing that he would one day become one of the greatest artists of the country. The great Pablo Picasso says, "I draw the way people bite their nails." And that is where we can begin this historic exhibition. Paresh Maity draws all the time. He has not just the magic of contours, but composition is his clarity of purpose as well as his vision of the image. Paresh, please talk to us about this beautiful drawing that you have created as virtually like a scale that goes into a cinematic field. Does this go back in time to Tamluk and to all the little places that you have visited over so many years?
This building history, I have been to this building 32 years back. When I came to Delhi first time, traveled to Rajasthan, I took a Rajasthan RTDC bus from this Bikaner house. From the day they have converted this historical building into the art space, and I have been seeing the staircase, and I have always seen the staircase is always neglected. What a beautiful, glorious staircase. So I decided when I put up my exhibition in this hall, this CCA gallery, first I will convert an installation with my drawing and some images and some sculptural form with paper mache. And it became like the icon of this exhibition. As Uma said, the drawing is the foundation of any artist. That says the strength and ability of an artist. You go back to history, any artist, either Picasso to Van Gogh, Monet, you will realize how strong they were with their drawings. This drawing depicts the 5,000 years history of Varanasi. You can see the staircase, Benaras, the main thing, the staircase, the temple, the boats, and the umbrellas. So that is depicted in this. And as I said, that it became the iconic installation in this exhibition.
Varanasi is the city that Paresh has visited over the past 37 years. And Varanasi, which Mark Twain said was older than history and older than time, is perhaps one of the most important images that continue to live in Paresh's mind as well as in his psyche as we go through many works in this exhibition. Infinite Light is born on the shores, on the banks of Varanasi. It speaks to us about not just the people, it speaks to us about the cultural fabric of the beauty of an ancient civilization that we can witness in India every day. everyday practice, then watercolor is a medium that he has sat to grasp over so many years. The first exhibition of Paresh Maity that I witnessed as a critic was in 1993, when he had an exhibition of Venice watercolors at the Sri Virani in Triveni in Delhi. At that time, his watercolors were more monochromatic, and we are looking at a watercolor of Venice here, which actually brings in not just the tonalities of different tenors. In terms of twilight zones, we are looking at a work that actually picturizes the beauty of the great Impressionist artists that gave us works that created visions and silhouettes and vignettes of the city of Venice. Paresh always loved the great J.M.W. Turner, and it was looking at Turner's watercolors of Venice that he actually began to create his works when he went on a Charles Wallace scholarship. This watercolor of the city of Venice, actually, it talks to us not just about the beauty of atmospherics, it also talks to us about technique. When we look at this work, we realize that Paresh does not just blend Impressionism into it, he also blends a certain kind of fluidity that we associate the Chinese artists with. It would not be wrong to say that the Venice watercolor is a beautiful amalgam of the East and the West. In terms of the fluid stroke, in terms of the darkness, in terms of the twilight zones, Paresh Maity is a twilight ferryman. All the time he is looking at the different qualities of light wherever he goes in the world. And it is those qualities of light during twilight zones that get enmeshed into his watercolor. Paresh, please talk to us about how Venice has been part of your history in the evolution of your own work as one of the greatest watercolor artists in India.
My first visit to Europe, 1990, as a postgraduate student, when I traveled and been to the National Gallery in London, in Trafalgar Square, and thereafter Paris, I could not stop looking at the Turner's painting. As I was very, fond of watercolor and landscapes, and I saw many, reproduction in many important books from the National, Library in Kolkata. So when I saw the original paintings, I could not believe the light, the feeling, the sensation of those watercolors. So that time I decided that one day I must travel to Venice and paint. And later on I understood that each and every artist of this world who wanted to create some romantic and romanticism art, they all traveled to Venice. So 1993, when I was doing British Council visitorship, I saved little money and I traveled to Venice. Painted a lot of paintings on the spot. I thought maybe this is enough. I may not come back again. But let me tell you, since then I have been 27 times to Venice. Every time I go is new. Every time I go is new light, new expression. And I try to capture the light, the romance, the poetic moment, color, the light in this, Venice painting. And that's why 2000 I have created a series of painting during many years and had an exhibition called Venetian Odyssey. So this is one of the paintings from that early stage, which I'm showing in this exhibition.
We move from the watercolors to a larger set of paintings that are in one of the rooms at the brilliant Bikaner house. Bikaner house creates a kind of a choreography that artists can play with. And Paresh Maity is known for the design ventures that he creates, because every exhibition of his is a solo that is meant to be seen in terms of the dynamics of design. We are looking at a painting that has been done in a circular format. Paresh Maity has in recent years created his own historicity in creating a number of works in a circular format that creates stunning portraits. But when he creates portraits, he is not only playing with the atmospherics, he is also playing with different imagery that speaks to us about the beauty of time. Time in terms of the staircase. The staircase is not just created as a lone linear characteristic, but what he creates is the choreography. And in that choreography, we can actually hear the rhythm of music. The rhythm of music for Paresh is about life, it is about the living, and it is about the manner in which he plays with abstraction. Abstraction for Paresh Maity is a language in itself. It is a language that is born of his love for realism. But when we look at his abstraction, we understand that he has such a fine idea of nocturnes. When we think of nocturnes, we immediately think of the most famous painting in the world of nocturnes, Van Gogh's Starry Night. Paresh Maity considers all the Renaissance masters as his own teachers, because it is by studying the works of the Renaissance masters that he has come to his own idea of understanding what his journey is. This work again is one of those magnificent works, monumental, but we look at the symbol of the bicycle. We look at the symbol of water. We look at the little pot. The pot can belong to his little village in Tamluk. It can belong to the shores anywhere in the world. And that is the beauty of how he brings elements together. Please talk to us about this work, Paresh.
This work titled On One Journey. You can see, as you talked about the cycle is like the cycle of life. How it goes, as you know, that Benaras is not the history, it is beyond history, 5,000 years beyond. Cycle is going up. In Benaras, anybody thinks to go and do anything, they go to heaven. And that is why the title of this exhibition is called the On One Journey. And the pot, as you said, the pot, it can be from anywhere in the world. So people go from anywhere in the world, collect the water from that, holy river. And the staircase, the vapor, ultimate, the moksha, they get it. That is symbolized in a very, very minimalistic approach and very, very, like surrealism way.
Yes.
I have created this.
Yes.
And staircase, as you grow old, as you grow up, as you grow in life, that is the symbolic, and it vanishes. So it creates in a vanishing point as the civilization is. So that's the story of this painting.
And from this painting of the Odyssey at Varanasi, we move to another panoramic work, a work that brings back memories of Paresh's early oils that he would create, in which he would use the element of a lantern. A lantern, a very surreal syntax, a signature. The lantern does not belong only to the Satyajit Ray films in Kolkata. The lantern belongs to the stories of the past in India. It belongs to the Indian vernacular tradition. But the beauty of this work is the manner in which he divides the canvas. A panoramic horizontal canvas, he divides into different zones. And in the zones, it is as if he has created for us a cinematic syntax of different phases of life. Paresh, please talk to us about this magical work.
As you said, the lantern, it is the infinite light. Till at the age of 18, I did not have any electric light. You will be surprised to know this. I used to paint, I used to study on the kerosene lamp. Here, I wanted to say that not to destroy our history and heritage. So this lamp is our heritage. Look at this old, the boats. The motorboats are imposing in our life, the mechanism is imposing in our life. So that can be there, but not to destroy our history and heritage. That is the conflict, that the situation we are all facing. So this is the painting, as I said, to really preserve the history, preserve the nature, and preserve our heritage.
Perhaps in many ways, the beauty of the larger works that he creates is in the fact that he is able to give us different chapters that fuse and create a kind of a dimension which is very much like Satyajit Ray's films. They move between time past and time present. They move between what is traditional, but they are created for us, translated onto the canvas in terms of modernity. Would it be correct to say that Paresh Maity is one of India's modern masters? Indeed. One of India's modern masters with his feet firmly grounded in tradition. We come to another magical work that brings not only the staircase as well as the lights of Benaras, but we also see a pair of insects. The balance of the animated and the inanimate is what creates a work that speaks to us about texture and tone as well as timelessness. An abstract sculpture which has been given a title of a human being. Paresh calls this work hero. When you look at the work, we are looking at an element, the most important element in our lives, the pendulum. It is only the pendulum that decides whether we live or whether we die. The pendulum is the metaphor for the human heart. The pendulum is the metaphor for life. And when he creates the circle, he brings back the beautiful words of Bernard Shaw when he said, everything in life comes full circle. We are looking at an abstract work which is a sculpture. The beauty of the work is the texture, the vertical strokes, as well as the patination that is looking at different cross hatches. We are also looking at a work that has a sense of isolatory timelessness to it, because it is speaking of a single human being. Paresh, please tell us about this work and how you created it in abstract tones.
See, this pendulum is like, as you said exactly, that when it stops everything. It's like a clock. It moves all the time, like our life. As you say, this cycle, life cycle, I believe in this life cycle, reincarnation, and made it into a very beautiful, very strong, geometric way, that it is the life cycle is like our door. We come and we go through this, and we leave, we come back, and it balances everything. That is this pendulum I have used.
Thank you. From here we will move on to the larger canvases, especially a very important canvas that opens the show at the Bikaner house in the central room, and we are looking at a work that has vignettes and little insignias of the beauty of a sunset. The sunset in India, in Indian terms, is called Sandhya, and there are many languages that celebrate that word Sandhya. Sandhya is about not just the sunlight, it is about the darkness. Paresh,
Just cut you
like to talk?
No, this is sunrise.
A sunrise in which we are looking at refractive index, which is not actually usual. But perhaps in some places in the world, we can look at a sunrise in which there are tenors of crimson tide. Paresh, please talk to us about this work.
This painting I have really seen many times in Maiha, a city. It is the Mecca of music and the Devi, Maiha, Sardamata. I go there from 1998. Every time I go, I do ceramics, I create sculpture, I do paintings, I do many kinds of art. There is this friend from Calcutta, they have a very beautiful, unique, one of its kind art center called Art Ichol. Early morning, when I go for walk, I go there generally in winter. I see the morning mist, the sun is rising, cracking the dawn, and see the beauty of the village, the temple, the trees. And I always feel this is so abstract, so musical, so mystical. This is the depiction of that, village in Maiha, where I go for a walk. If you see from far, you will realize there are houses, there are, temples, there are many things. It is there, it is not there. In a very, abstract and also very realistic way.
We move to the top floor to see the larger painting, especially the magnum opus of this show, which is a painting that goes into 45 feet. We are in the most important room at Bikaner house on the first floor of the Center for Contemporary Art, and we are looking at the work of Benaras, which is the magnum opus of this exhibition. This work of Benaras is 45 feet in horizontal width, and this work actually celebrates not just the sunrise but the morning aarti. It celebrates different vignettes in terms of deep Dipavali. Paresh will talk to us about what he was creating.
See, as you said in the beginning, the last 37 years I have been going to Varanasi. My first travel was 1985. Every time, every moment when I go to the ghats, I see the people are bathing. What, river of faith, amazing. I can't believe. Every time I see the clothes are floating wet. I have created the texture with like a wetty effect and pasted a lot of clothes on the canvas to create the texture and the beauty and the surface. Many planes I have created. In this, I have depicted Dipavali, where you can see hundreds of, the diyas, ghats, temples, and the serenity of the early morning, which is during the Aarti, early morning Aarti, which I have created in this painting. And there are installations you can see with the light, and that's why again and again I'm telling you this exhibition is infinite light, because the light is the main and integral part of any form of my art.
But light is also the source of all living on the earth.
Yes.
How happy Charles Darwin would have been if he were here to see this show, because it is a show that celebrates the beauty of light in its infinite ways. But it is also a show that talks to us about understanding and savoring the beauty of light in the twilight zones, in the hours of darkness, as well as during sunrises. Paresh says that most of the time he gets up early morning, watches the sunset, and that is when his work begins. He translates the sunrise into his works to create works that speak to us about the music of the morning. We remember that beautiful song by Cat Stevens, "Morning has broken like the first morning." We come to a Benaras which looks like a riverscape. A riverscape that is divided into many zones, but a riverscape that gives us the city. It is a blend of the city as well as the river. It is a blend of architectonics. We are looking at little houses. We are looking at the silhouette of the temple, the umbrellas, the water, the darkness of the boat. Paresh, please talk to us about this.
Again, this is the soul city, the city of Varanasi I have depicted, where the peace is there. People, they believe they get moksha when they go to this city. And that's where I have depicted this painting dominantly with the white color. And you can see the tree, the way the life is emerging, the life is coming. Because it's a city of birth, city of marriage, city of everything. In 24 hours, you see, everything is happening. So much energy, so much of faith, so much of light, so much of history and heritage. That is depicted in this painting.
From this work of Benaras, which has been created with lighter tones, as well as a slight wash and chromatic effect of texture, we move to a work that speaks to us about a subliminal accent of the beauty of light. The understanding of light in terms of radiance, the understanding of light in terms of how it refreshes and how it showers everything that it touches in its wake, is the beauty of nature. This work speaks to us about heavenly light. It speaks to us about not just the importance of understanding the different authorities of architectonics in a place, but it celebrates Varanasi as if it were a picture postcard. Paresh Maity's larger canvases of Varanasi, whether they are horizontal or vertical, give us different multifarious minutes of the beauty of the fact that you have to be a good observer to be able to create a landscape that stands beyond time. Paresh, please talk to us about this work.
My first visit, 1985, when I went there, early morning, as she said that I'm very, early riser. When I went to the ghat, I have seen first thing the whole ghats from north to south, facing east. I see the sun is rising. So whole ghats are bathing with the beautiful glorious light, the sunrise. Every day when I go in the morning, I see all the ghats from, Ashi Ghat to the Vaishashur Ghat, all the ghats are bathing with the beautiful, warm, glorious, translucent light. This is the painting in the morning, because in the evening the sun goes back west side, but the ghat, all the temple, the ghats is all facing east. So that's why I have created this painting with the very warm, very luminous light, that it is like bathing with the beautiful, glow of light.
But what is also fascinating is the manner in which he gives us just the minimal boughs of a tree. And when he creates it, he creates impressionist strokes for us, because he creates a tree that is minimal, but a tree that has verdant fertility about it. The beauty of this work is about the many hues that it has and the kind of luminosity it presents. Each viewer can walk away with a different kind of memory. From this we move to a work that has elements of realism in it. When Paresh Maity began his career as an artist, he did brilliant works that combined abstraction as well as realism. And this work on the top floor is one of the finest examples of his understanding of realism. When we look at a wok which has been made famous by Chinese chefs all over the world. It has become a utensil which is celebrated. It has become a name, a title, but it has become the most important utensil and vessel in the world today. He places this wok and creates a sense of a charcoal hue of soot. It is actually if the soot has just dispersed itself and scattered. But the work talks to us about different facets of time. 3 chapters are engaged in this brilliant work. The beauty of the vessel is that it mirrors metal. Paresh, please talk to us about this work.
All kinds of chaat, halwai, mithai, khana, all kinds of food, pan. So Benaras is a place of the paradise of food. See, when I go through the gullies, I have noticed, as you said, that this is the karai is the mirror. The big karai, the milk is boiling. And so the doodh jalebi, the milk jalebi, everybody is wanting to have it. And as you said, the soots, you see that near the chula, the oven, is maybe hundreds of years is been, that fire is going on and the soots are there. It looks like the texture in many stages of life. And that's why the reality I have depicted that karai, and it going to the deep, you see it's little whitish because it symbolizes the milk. Doodh garam, they do it. And then you see suddenly there is this ghats, there is a small little boats which says the story of Varanasi. Because the moment you go that everybody is wanting to have chaat, all kinds of chaat. It's a paradise of chaat. Doodh, halwai, mithai, pan, all kinds of food. It's amazing. It's history, it's heritage.
We move from the works on the top floor and we go downstairs and look at a set of 3 sculptures, as well as get into the larger works in the second hall in which the exhibition continues. the entrance is a monumental set of works which are called Pair. These works have been created in abstraction, very deep abstraction. It has austerity, but it has authority, because when we look at the works, we realize that Paresh creates a man and a woman, but he gives us symbols for a man and a woman. In the first work, we are looking at a symbol of a plier. The woman holds the plier. She holds the plier to life. She holds the plier of a homestead. How she balances many things in her home in order to create a home that is harmonious. And we are also looking at a statement about Indian mythology and the Ardha Narishwara concept, in which you have the balance of man and woman. These two sculptures, though they have been treated in abstract tenors, these two sculptures have multiple references of Indian mythology, as well as the beauty of living. Shiva Shakti, there is Purush and Prakriti, there is man and woman, the masculine and the feminine. If in this sculpture he has the plier, in the second sculpture he gives us a hammer. We are looking at a work. The plier talks to us about adaptability, the plier talks to us about balance, and the plier talks to us about holding. In unison, in unity, the harmony. But the hammer talks to us about strength. The strength of the man to go on in life, the strength of the man to be the breadwinner, the strength of the man to be an example, a role model for future generations. The beauty of these two works is that they go beyond time, they go beyond people, and they go beyond the constructs of history. Would you like to add a little more?
You have said everything, Uma. You have said everything. See, I made the two smaller version of these two sculptures for India Art Fair, the last edition. And I was thinking, why can't I do this emotion, love, relationship, strength, and balances everything in a very modern, contemporary, and geometric way. And I could not believe that sculpture was like a, it was completely hypnotized by the viewer. Then I decided that I must make this larger than life. And look at this, they are like 22 feet, and it depicts like the main factor of this universe is like Adam and Eve is a man and woman, and it's larger than life. And you can see, I see that how small I look in front of this sculpture, and that really, as you said, that it balances very beautifully in a an harmonious way.
I guess the beauty also of the sculpture is that it tells us that when we create a sculpture, there are so many languages in composition. There are so many multifarious things that an artist can talk to us about. But the beauty of the artist is the manner in which he translates the imagery. And Paresh Maity, who is known to create imagery, who has played so much over the years, more than 30 years creating human faces, and creating a series of works on the human figuratives, when he creates sculptures that have a strong abstract essence, we are looking at a sculpture that talks to us in different languages about not just movements. We are also looking at an art history that is being recreated in terms of all that he has seen, because Paresh Maity is an intrepid traveler. He is all the time traveling, and during his travels, he creates an image bank in his head. And it is from that image bank that we are getting these stunning sculptures. We are looking at one of the sculptures in the show, which is of the realist mold. But we are looking at the gigantic jackfruit. The jackfruit became famous during the pandemic because the jackfruit became the medicine for COVID patients. And it was the state of Kerala that exported ripe jackfruit to many parts of the world because people wanted to eat the fruit that would heal them. The jackfruit has actually come into being in India in the newspapers on front page because of its medicinal value. But Paresh gives us the jackfruit that belongs to literature. He gives us the jackfruit that belongs to poetry. He gives us the jackfruit that belongs to life. Paresh, tell us about the jackfruit.
The jackfruit, it is called urban step. As you see, that each and everybody during pandemic, they were suffering. They were, in fear. So jackfruit, I believe, like if you go back to the older times, it's a city was surrounded by big, strong wall. The people could not go through. So these thorns are depicted that like it is a city. But when you open the jackfruit, you see how harmonious, how systematic, coexistently small, all the seeds are sometimes small, sometimes big, sometimes, medium, beautifully harmonized way. They are balances. They are balancing each other. They are, touching each other, but it's beautifully way they are living. And as you said, that this is not just a depiction of a fruit or a realistic sculpture. It says that it is something we must learn how we can protect ourselves from like pandemic, from like many things in life.
We are also looking at a sculpture that is inherently, unconsciously talking to us about what is outside and what is inside. What is outside may be thorny, it may be dark, it may be thick, it may be strong, but what is inside is soft, it is malleable, it is sweet, the paradox of patterns in life and the living.
And it is one of the biggest one-piece single casted sculpture in India.
So we are looking at a certain
sculpture.
historicity in terms of the sculpture that has been created for this show that will travel to many cities. Perhaps in many ways it will be interesting to see how people react to the different sculptures. is actually a statement about not just the importance of the family, it is a statement about life and how we must hold on to what is there, because life is short. Last. We do last. I'll get that for last. We come to another sculpture that looks at the facets of a woman. The human face is one of the oldest subjects for art history. And the man who made the human face so popular was the great Pablo Picasso. But in Paresh Maity's hands, the human faces change when he puts it on paper, when he puts it on canvas, and when he creates the sculpture. We are looking at a sculpture that recreates cubist elements. Paresh has such a deep idea of cubist elements. When we look at the manner in which he differentiates and divides the different facets of the human face. But this is an Indian woman. This is a woman that belongs to Indian miniature tradition. This is a woman who belongs to Jamini Roy's times. He recreates the same curvature, but in a modernist mold. And when we look at it, it is the different little accents that he adds as ornamental features that creates the magic of the mood and the moment. Her eyes are gilded. Her eyes are like gold. And her nose pin is something that just settles just a little above the margin of the tip of her nose. It is the manner in which it is balanced and it is worked. Her lips. A pair of lips that reminds us of the great Sharmila Tagore, who had inaugurated the show a few days ago. The wonderful Sharmila Tagore, who was discovered by Satyajit Ray, as well as many other Indian actresses. We have Madhubala, and we have a lot of number of Indian actresses that come to our mind. But when Paresh creates a woman, she is a woman that cuts across time and cuts across the many accents of pages of literature and poetry and cinematic history. Paresh, please talk to us about this work.
This, you can see how content, that face is so content, so calm. And the way, as you said, the tradition and modernity I have combined with the contour, very cubic line with a very soft, like our miniature line, gives that, contemplate the beauty, the grace, the happiness which is depicted, and as you said, the lips. It is the love which is very, very pure and very, very, content. And I have done the patina. It's like very old, historical, kind of antique look.
Yes, yes.
And because this is our heritage, this is our,
But also of great interest is the manner in which he creates the hair. So we are looking at the hair which has been neatly combed back with the middle parting, and it is made into a little coiffure behind her head. When we look at the coiffure, we realize that Paresh is giving us a work that actually celebrates womanhood and giving us a work that brings back the accents of the great fisherwomen of coastal regions all over India. The great fisherwomen who have long hair and who just bundle up their hair into a careless coiffure behind their heads. The beauty of femininity is what Muse is about. There is a beautiful line by William Shakespeare when he says that we must see how far the light in the candle can glow. And this work is about a little lantern. It's a spirit light. It is not a candle. But the spirit light echoes the words of Shakespeare because we are looking at light in terms of a hamlet, in terms of extremely humble, simple conditions of lifestyle. And Paresh said that it is not till the age of 18 that they had electricity in his house. We are looking at a flashback in time. But the beauty of this work are the different textures that he creates. At first, when you look at the work, you want to look at the work again because it's as if he has created a three-dimensional quality to the work, and he has created faces that are actually sculpted. He has given a weight to the faces in terms of a sculptural nuances by the little sheets of paper that he has created, and he has added the mixed media textures. In terms of the contours, in terms of the color, and in terms of the fragmented compositional clarity, this painting tune is not just about music or the rhythms of life. The beauty of the musical instrument, it tells us that life itself must be lived like a melody that we have to cherish. And when he creates the faces, we don't think only of Indian art history. We think of what is Egyptian. We think of what is Greco-Roman. We think of all the civilizations of the world, because the women on Paresh Maity's canvases and paintings belong to the earth. They belong to the past. They belong to the present. Paresh, please talk to us about this work.
As you said, that this is not just the expression of the man, woman, and it is a tune of life. If you see the lamp, as she said, it is spirited, but the stem of the lamp, there is the eye. It is the vision of our world. And if you see that it is holding one figure, unity. One side is man, one side is woman, and then it becomes a bird, symbol of love. The unity, the tune, the symphony, the melody, and it is created such a way, as she said, creates a different dimension and history of many times, today, past, today, present, and future. That depicts, that's the painting, you know.
We come to a pair of ceramics. Paresh Maity is not just multi-talented, but we could say that Paresh Maity is a polymath. Who is a polymath? A polymath is one who is able to transcend into different regions and materials and multiple idioms in order to create the works that he wants to create. But the beauty of Paresh Maity is that he doesn't stop at one work. He doesn't stop at one medium. He wants to try another medium, and he wants to experiment. In that exploration, he creates works that actually make us wonder about when does he do all his thinking. And so ceramics is one of the things that has been introduced in this show. I, as a critic, have never seen his ceramic work and did not know that he has been doing ceramics all these years. But when you look at these two ceramic works, I am at once reminded of the brilliance of Pablo Picasso, because art history is famous for the Picasso ceramics, But Paresh Maity creates ceramics, and he creates the human face on the ceramics in terms of fragmented facets. Fragmented facets that not just mirror time, fragmented facets that speak about the beauty of eyes. If a book had to be written about the eyes that Paresh Maity makes, one could write an encyclopedia, because he is always treating eyes in different fashion. He treats the eyes as the eyes of a woman. He treats the eyes as the eyes of a baby, the eyes of a man, the eyes of an animal. It is up to us to guess, and it is up to us to infer different kinds of preferences and opinions. The beauty of both these works is that they are different in format, in form. They don't just celebrate ceramic, they celebrate what happens when you take a ceramic work and you create the image of man onto a ceramic work. Indeed, fragmented man can be as beautiful as the human figure, which is considered the most enduring in the world. Paresh, please talk to us about these two historic ceramics.
My life started naturally with clay at the age of 7 in Tamluk. The ceramics, the germination is clay. As I said that I was always playing with clay, creating clay toys. 32 years back when I visited Paris first time and Museum of Picasso, I could not believe the Picasso's ceramics. About 22 years back when I traveled to Maihar, Madhya Pradesh, at my friend's, house, the old bungalow, they have a beautiful ceramic studio. And I was creating one, two ceramics. And then it was like going here and there. Then one day I was thinking that I should, gather all these ceramics. And one day I must unveil these ceramics with an exhibition. And I have realized that light and shade, it balances everything, and you can express everything with black and white. That's why I have chosen the color of all my ceramics. They are either, burnt sienna or white or black and white, and very geometric way. And the shapes are also very different, because in life, in civilization, everything shapes are very different, very beautiful. And that I wanted
life
to give.
Life itself is black and white.
Black and white. So it's day and night. That's why I created all these ceramics. And it's an unknown territory, ceramics. When you have made maybe 10 of them, you have put into the clay, maybe one will come out.
Yes.
Rest will break.
The degree of accidental.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's why, this is the first time on view for public, my ceramics.
Thank you. We come to the pièce de résistance of the show. Infinite Light has been showcased, and it is this work that is the mascot for the show at Bikaner House. Here we are looking at a work that reminds us not just about that beautiful movie Crimson Tide, but it also speaks to us about the different qualities of light and the magical nuances of the sun. Paresh will talk to us about this work, and after that I will add an end note.
Since childhood as I said, I have born and brought up near the coast and been through many islands. This is one island, it's called Mud Island. I have been many times. It is just in Bombay, everybody knows Mud Island. Early morning, this is, if you see very carefully, it is nothing, but everything is there. It's like Bimut to Nirakar to Saka. And early morning when I go for morning walk, I see the sun is rising, the hues are there, and the fishing village. The sea is, the smoke from the fishing boat. People are there silent, but the lights are all there, going to start the day. This is it's very meditative way I have depicted this work. In one time, I said, if you see from far, first impression you will see that there is nothing. but slowly, slowly you will immerse in the painting and you will realize there are many things. There are hues, there are lights, there are unique light, as you said, that infinite light, which I have given the title of this exhibition. So that's, and also it has a unique impression of Turner. The minimalistic landscape and very, very, abstract kind of depiction is there in this painting.
Also, it is a painting that speaks to us about the nuances of life and the living in terms of what is recreated on the canvas by an artist. In this work, one sees that there is a very deep understanding and a depth in terms of the density of a meditative contemplation. A meditative contemplation in which he treats the canvas as if it is bathed in strokes of impressionist mood. So, these are boats. And when you look at the boats, and when you look at when you look at the poles of the boats, you realize that not only can he give us nuances which are strong, not only can he give us nuances that have deep depth in terms of the blackness or in terms of the crimson tones that he creates, but he can create whispering fingerprint notes. These whispering fingerprint notes that he creates in different tones of yellow, as well as the ship in the distance that has the funnel with smoke. We are looking at a timber of life. We are looking at many stories, and we are looking at the beauty of what the great poet T.S. Eliot said when he wrote his 4 quartets and said, time past and time present. This work and this entire exhibition is about echoing the allusion of those beautiful words, time past and time present. We end today's historic session with a sculpture that Paresh calls the Golden Shower. And we are looking at a work that actually is a testimony to trees and life. It is a testimony to botanical brilliance. And it tells us that the amalthas tree that he loves is not just something that belongs to Indian history and literature. It also belongs to the botanical beauty of the earth. It also tells us about life everlasting and the quality and notes of eternity that are there in trees. For Paresh, the amalthas is not just about the leaves, it is also about the fruit. And when we look at the manner in which it has been created and conceptualized, we are looking at a tree that has balanced minimalism along with a hint of realism. And we are looking at a work that brings back the beautiful words of the great Hermann Hesse, who wrote the great book Siddhartha, when Hermann Hesse said, trees are sanctuaries. We also remember the great Walt Whitman who said, we have to listen to trees because it is trees that teach us about life and the living. And for Paresh Maity, the tree is a symbol of life. It is a metaphor of life. It is also about continuing in the world with changes, with adaptation, and also learning to live, as well as being of service in the world. Do you agree, Paresh?
Yes. Save the tree, save the life. Don't destroy the tree and don't destroy the earth. It is very important. Every morning when I walk in the Japana forest, I see during March and April, what a beautiful tree with the yellow flowers. And end of the summer, the monsoon is starting, the flower goes down. And this, the beautiful fruits are hanging. It's almost like living sculpture. So as you said, that it is not just the tree, it is the testimony of our civilization, it is the testimony of our life. So better not to destroy the tree, save the tree and save the life. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I thank Sunena Anand of Art Alive. I thank artist Paresh Maity. I thank the Bikaner House team, and I thank MASH for a wonderful evening.